This is the Barbados Today afternoon news for Thursday, April 27th. Thank you for joining us. I am Mary Claire Williams. Police are investigating a sudden death in the city this morning. Acting Public Relations Officer Inspector Stephen Griffith confirmed that a visitor to the island collapsed on Hinks Street and subsequently died. In other news, Finance Minister Chris Sinckler is questioning some of the recommendations put forward by the Foreign Exchange Working Group of the Social Partnership. Some of the proposals include an increase in the cruise visitor head tax and airport departure fees. Sinckler says he does not see how raising departure taxes will help boost the foreign exchange reserves.
If that is one of the recommendations, I can't confirm if it was, because as I'm not at liberty to speak to what is in the report, but even if that is the case, how would raising airport departure taxes or airport taxes, whatever tax it is that they're recommending, that you say they're recommending, how would that help foreign exchange? I'm not quite sure, because taxes are collected in Barbados dollars at the airport. I mean, there may be one or two people, visitors who pass through, who may not have Barbados currency and may pay in a foreign currency, a hard currency, US dollars or pounds or whatever, but that's few and far between. So how would that affect the foreign exchange position of the country and certainly reserves? I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure.
Sinckler was speaking to reporters on Wednesday during a visit to 3 primary schools in his St. Michael Northwest constituency ahead of next week's common entrance exam. Government Senator Irene Sandiford Garner is lamenting the lack of women in technology. She was addressing a hackathon at the Cave Hill campus of the University of the West Indies this morning to observe Girls in ICT Day. Sandiford Garner noted that several women made contributions to that field but received little recognition, and she encouraged the students present to join their male counterparts in pursuing careers in tech.
Women should not only be using the computers and the internet. We must be seen in our numbers, setting the agenda and designing products and services that shape lives. It is evident to me that culture and the learning environment are critical in the cultivation of abilities and interests. And we have to examine the stereotypes and biases that still exist. Encouraging more girls and women to enter these fields will require careful attention to the environment in our classrooms and our workplaces throughout our culture.
Local academics have hailed the outgoing Chancellor of the University of the West Indies, Sir George Alleyne, as a man of distinction who left a trail of brilliance. They also lauded him as an outstanding researcher with a human touch. Among those pouring the accolades were Vice-Chancellor Professor Sir Hilary Beckles and retired Dean of the Faculty of Medical Sciences, Sir Henry Fraser, at a farewell dinner hosted by the campus at the Errol Barrow Center for Creative Imagination.
A corridor of high culture and creative consciousness carved through the debris of the early beginnings of our university. And he did it in classical Caribbean style fashion. A Caribbean champ. He soon tackled the puzzling problem of edema or swelling in malnourished infants, in the almost epidemic syndrome of kwashiorkor in Jamaica. For a decade, he led a range of cutting-edge research projects in malnutrition and metabolism. I was privileged to have him as my mentor, both in my medical student elective and later preparing me for my own research career and the founding 25 years ago here of our Chronic Disease Research Centre, which has been such a remarkable success story for the university.
And Sir George outlined how his studies and career at the UWI shaped his life.
My exposure to the early university, that started a line of thinking that has only acquired more salience as I grew in understanding. I was led out of a closed society to appreciate the world was big, very big, and had much to offer if I applied myself and kept my head. And my education there was not only in the wooden huts, but in the interactions that punctured my narrow, purblind parochialism and led me to the conviction that a nation is not a place, but a nation is a people.
Sir Sir George is due to step down in July.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Good morning, Phillips & Company, may I help? Oh, certainly. One moment, please. Miss Phillips?
Yeah?
There's a lady on the line from the Nation newspaper who would like to speak with you.
The Nation? Wish she go on?
Well, they're trying to sell us some ads.
Look, don't make me laugh this morning. Ads in the Nation? They're real expensive, and for what here, nobody ain't buying them papers no more. Nobody want to steal news. I hear reading Barbados Today online for free. So I tell she thanks for calling, but no thanks. We just advertising Barbados Today, families. Tell she is Barbados Today all the way.
Okay, I'll pass on the message. Ma'am, are you still there? Oh, she put down.
The Barbados Today, news you can trust.
We're back now with news from the region, and we go to Trinidad, which has received a second downgrade in 4 days. The first was from Standard & Poor's last week, and yesterday Moody's Investor Service downgraded the Twin Island Republic to BA1 from Baa3. We get more from TV6 News in Port of Spain.
Moody's Investment Service issued a statement overnight in which it announced it has downgraded Trinidad and Tobago's issuer and senior unsecured debt ratings to BA1 from Baa3. This follows S&P's announcement on Friday that it lowered its long-term sovereign credit rating for the country to BBB+ from A-. Both S&P and Moody's now rate the outlook for Trinidad and Tobago as stable, which is lower than their previous outlook ratings. TV6 News was able to reach Finance Minister Colm Imbert via text message. Asked if both downgrades will affect the country's ability to borrow, Minister Imbert said, quote, "To some extent, the cost of borrowing will go up in the short term, but we are working on improving TNT's credit rating in due course," end quote. Moody's explained in its statement that its downgrade was based on 1. The authority's policy response has been insufficient to effectively offset the impact of low energy prices on government revenues, as fiscal consolidation efforts have mostly relied on one-off revenue measures. 2. A steady rise in debt ratios driven by large government deficits has eroded fiscal strength. 3. Declining production from maturing oil and gas fields coupled with limited investment prospects in a context of low energy prices have materially undermined medium-term growth prospects.
And on the international scene, the Pentagon's Inspector General has launched an investigation into whether the former National Security Advisor, Michael Flynn, took money from foreign entities without the necessary approval. The confirmation of the probe is contained in a letter dated April 11 to the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee. Flynn is under scrutiny over his contacts with Russian officials. Lawmakers also say he likely broke the law by failing to request and receive permission to accept payments for a 2015 trip to Russia. The top Democrat on the committee, Representative Elijah Cummings, also released documents from the Pentagon that showed it found no evidence that Flynn sought permission to receive foreign funds despite being warned against such payments in 2014. And that's news this afternoon. Remember, you can get more on our website, www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're on Izumi Media in bus terminals and Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. Or you could tune in to Mix 96.9 FM for more news. I am Marie Claire Williams. Have a good afternoon.